Hello guys, and welcome to my channel once again. Today's video is going to be more like story time, and it's about the BBC documentary on TB Joshua. It's in 3 parts. I watched all the 3 parts, and basically my video today has to do with my encounter with TB Joshua. Yeah, I've met him one-on-one on 3 occasions. And I will not want to say he's a fake man of God, neither will I say he's a genuine man of God. But I just want to tell my story, then you make your own conclusions. So this story, my encounter with TB Joshua happened in 2011, 2012, thereabout. And how did I get to attend his church? Some people know me here that actually before I left Nigeria, I was a major player in the oil and gas space. I still play in the oil and gas space even while I'm here in Canada. So before then, I used to do most of my oil and gas transaction at the downstream level. Downstream level means the refined product, the finished product, yeah? So mostly we buy product in Apapa, maybe in the tank farm. Talk about Xenon, talk about Lista, talk about most of the tank farms in Apapa. My office then was at Polysonic Mall in Liverpool. I don't know if that mall is still there. It's called Polysonic Mall. I think I was on the 1st floor. That's where my office used to be. There used to be a Zenith Bank there, Oceanic Bank, and I think Echo Bank also around there. It's a very popular mall back then. I don't know if it's around the warehouse. I mean around Apapa, not warehouse, around Apapa. If you are just driving into Apapa from that costing area, you will meet the Polysonic Mall, and there's a police station by the side. I think it's area, no good, it's area H, that should be area G or something. I don't know, I can't remember. This some 12-13 years ago. So basically I got a contract from Corn Oil, yeah, Michael Adenuga. So the contract was for me to supply them 10,000 metric tons of gas oil, diesel. So I got the contract, everything signed. It went through different stages. About 8 people had to sign, and they all signed. The final stage was for Adenuga to sign, and Adenuga approved, and they gave me the contract. This video is not about the business aspect, how I got the contract, so I'm not going to speak so much on that regard. So I got the contract and I approached First Bank, and First Bank gave me a facility to finance the contract, which was actually in excess of, I think it was around 1.4 billion naira. It was my first major contract. And this contract came through one of my secondary school classmates. I don't want to mention names, but if she watches this video, she knows I'm talking about her. Her husband used to work with Corn Oil, so I don't know if he still works there. So it was the husband that said, oh, she told the husband, I have this my classmate that is into oil and gas. Can you help him? Maybe get a contract from you. He said, okay, let me speak with my people in the office. He did, and they invited me, so I said, yes, I can deliver. And definitely, that kind of arrangement, even those in the office, the way it's done, you have to like factor them into, it's not free of charge. You have to like give them their cut too after everything is said and done. Long story short, we got the contract, met First Bank. First Bank drew up a facility and all that. Long story short, the person that I'm supposed to buy the oil from, he said, okay, we need money to hire a vessel that will be able to take 10,000 metric tons. So that was where I went, put money together, and the money was a lot of money. That is in tens of millions. I don't want to mention specific figures, but in tens of millions. So the entire money wasn't entirely mine. I had to borrow part of it from friends, from relatives, in-laws, just like that, you know. So put the money together and say, okay, we're going to use it to hire the vessel. So the person I'm supposed to get the oil from, I'm going to mention his name at least. His name is Johnny Mark Ugbo. That's his name, Johnny Mark Ugbo. An Igbo guy from Abia State. So, and the name of his company then was Foundation Oil and Gas, something like that. Foundation Oil and Gas Limited. So put the money together. Was in First Bank. Actually was the manager of the branch in Apapa. I won't mention the guy's name, but it's from Delta State, the branch manager that introduced me to this Johnny Mark Ugbo guy. So he said, okay, we need to hire a vessel and all that. We're going to get the oil from whether Trafigura or something like that. We signed all the documents, and long story short, all the money I put together transferred to this guy's account. I lost all the money, and it was a big deal. In fact, that transaction alone brought my company to its knees. My staffs were there, I couldn't pay salary. Now they were supposed to load the product, and we are supposed to deliver in Makoba. That's corn oil storage facility in Port Harcourt. The place is called Makoba or something like that. So I was in Port Harcourt for almost 1 month waiting for the products to be delivered and all that. Long story short, the Johnny Mark Ugbo guy, after some time, all his 3 lines were not going through anymore. I had to fly back from Port Harcourt to, where's that? Lagos, and found out that the guy has disappeared into thin air. Product, ANOC. Johnny Mark Ugbo, ANOC. Corn oil were on my neck. Where's the product? Blah, 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 blah. Because it was December period, and that cargo was what they were supposed to use to service their filling station for the December period. Long story short, I was unable to make that delivery, and the contract was cancelled. My company was blacklisted in corn oil. So they said they don't want to see me close to their facility, and I will never get a contract from them again because I like destabilize their operations and all that and all that. So we started looking for Johnny Mark Ugbo. From here, I reported the matter to Special Fraud Unit in Milverton. They came, arrested the bank manager because I said, well, I don't know Johnny Mark Ugbo. It was the bank manager that introduced him to me. They arrested the bank manager. While they were doing that, people that I borrowed money from to complete the money for the vessel started disturbing me, arresting me here and there. Well, it was really, really a bad time in my life, you know. This was around that period that they had, you know, Jonathan was the president then, President Jonathan. Remember when they increased fuel price, that people were now protesting all over, Ojota, everywhere. That was the period, you know. So basically, you meet friends in Apapa. Even somebody came and said, how will you be doing this kind of business? You are not part of us. They are members of Ogboni, blah, blah, blah. I say, no. Another one say, I will take you somewhere. If you meet this Baba, under 1 week, this man will come with your money. We beg, he is going to come back with your money. Long story short, police, they did a gazette, published the man's name with picture. You know this gazette that they do, they write wanted. They will now describe the guy, wanted for, you know, so amount, blah, blah, blah. from police investigation, they say, well, that they have it on good authority that the guy has left the country. Because even his house, somewhere around, forgotten where Agor Palace way, somewhere around there, we went to his house. They say he has parked like some days ago because nobody was in the house. And he's an elderly man. As at that time, he was 66 years old. He's not a young guy. So even if he's alive, he will be very, very old now, maybe in his 90s or maybe 80s. He's an old guy, you know, to have done this kind of thing. So, and other people will say, oh, if I take you to this Baba, this man will come begging with your money and all that, because I really wanted my money back, even if I couldn't get the contract. So everything went haywire. So that was what took me to TB Joshua. So people say I come to TB Joshua. So I went there for almost 1 month. I was going to even see a space inside the church was a problem. Eventually, I now found out that, okay, if you go to the church and you are properly dressed, right, maybe with your suit, with your tie, they always give you preference. And other people, they give preferences if you are a foreigner. Let's assume you come from abroad, they give you preference. All those people, they put them inside the main church. Well, let's say you are a Nigerian and all that, and for you to have a space inside the main church, let's say service is on Sunday, you have to go there on Saturday and sleep there in Ikotuegbe. You have to sleep there. They have all these small churches around the car park, just like overflow or something like that. So you have to go and be there. If you are not there, you will not be able to get a space inside the main church, you know. And that's where TB Joshua is. He hardly comes to the overflow and all that. But you see people, they maybe camera and all that, but he hardly comes there. So basically, after going there for like 4 Sundays and I couldn't get a space inside the church, I found out that I have to go a day before and sleep inside all those overflows. So I did. So I went there on a Saturday, slept inside all those overflow by the car park. Then what they do is on Sunday, early in the morning, around maybe 4 a.m., they start moving people from the overflow into the main church and start arranging people. They start moving people from the overflow into the main church. So they start going line by line, line by line. So for the first time, I was able to get a space inside the main church. Service starts around maybe 7:30 or so. You see the choir, they will start singing and all that. So if you are coming that Sunday morning, even if you get there by 6 a.m. or 7, the main church is filled already. So almost 90% sure that you are going to remain in the overflow. So that was how I was able to get myself inside the main church for the first time. So when TB Joshua comes out, he will maybe just say 1 or 2 or 3 things. The next thing is start going around aisle by aisle. So I think it was on the 3rd Sunday after I was able to get into the main church. So I start playing that trick. I will go a night before. So I was always getting into the main church. And I would dress very fine with my suit, with my tie. So all the, what do they call them? This usher, they will pull you out. If they see that you are properly dressed, they will pull you out of the line and put you in front so that you will be close to the altar, so that if the camera is speaking, it's going to pick you. So one of those occasions, TB Joshua now came, and that was the day he just came. He was passing by, just stopped by me. The next thing, he just hit me on the chest. In fact, I didn't even know where I was. I didn't even know what I was saying, you know. So the next thing he said, where's your mother? Where's your mother? Where's your mother? My mother was back in my state. He said, I need to see your mother. I need to see your mother. Blah, 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 blah. Where's your mother? Where's your mother? You know. Then the next thing he said, you have a good mother. You have a good mother. If not for your mother's prayer, you would have died long ago. You have a good mother. You have a very your mother, she's a very good woman. She's a praying woman. She prays very well. If not that you have a good mother that prays for you, you would have died long ago, something like that. So when they do that, anytime TB Joshua ministers to you, they give you a note. Someone will give you a note among his team, right? They just write a note, see me, then he will sign. They will give you that note and they will ask you to wait after the service. Yeah? So they gave me that note and I had to wait after service. And one thing is, if TB Joshua ministers to you, in fact, you become like a small celebrity. Because people will be like, oh, your problem is solved for the fact that TB Joshua was able to minister to you. In fact, just go rejoicing and all that, you know. So we waited after service. You know, TB Joshua's synagogue service is the whole day. So after service, we waited around maybe around 6 or so, 7 in the evening. They brought food. All those of us that they asked to wait, that they gave the little sleep and all that. So they gave us food. Long story short, it was around 2 a.m. 2 a.m. So this was Sunday morning now. 2 a.m. They just came and said, okay, TB Joshua is ready to see us. So all of us, we lined up like in a single file. Blah, blah, blah. So that was when we went upstairs. His office is upstairs. So as you are entering, it's sharp, sharp. There's nothing like sit down. As you are entering, immediately you enter his office, you go on your knees. So I entered, that was when I saw him face to face, just the way you are seeing me, face to face like this. He said, I want to see your mother. I want to see your mother. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't even say anything. I said, you have to bring your mother. You have to bring your mother. And your wife too. You have to bring your mother and your wife. Though me, I knew that my wife wasn't going to come. Even without telling her, I knew she wasn't going to go. So, but my mother, she knew what I was going through. And she said, if they want me to come, if that one will solve your problem, I will go. So before I left, there's this water they used to call it anointed water also. I think they used to sell it 5K then. Anointed water. So he gave me 2 bottles for free. And he gave me, there's this sticker that you just put the sticker on your car or your house or something. He gave me 2 of those stickers. That was all. Oh yeah, next. In all, I didn't stay up to 2 minutes. Yeah. So that was how it went. So I told my mother, I told my wife too. She said she wasn't going to go. Well, it didn't come as a surprise. I knew she wasn't going to go. So I told my mother. My mother came all the way from my state. Came to something I left out was when they showed me, you know, when TB Joshua is ministering to you, all the cameras, all the lights, you know, they will be on you and all that. So after the encounter, people started calling me from Kaduna, from Zaria, some from UK and all that. I say, you went to TB Joshua, we saw you. People that have not spoken to me in like 5 years, they started calling me, we saw you, TB Joshua. Because, you know, I was like, whoo. So my mother came, I took her, because they give you another slip that anytime you want to. So I took her to TB Joshua. It was the following Sunday. So this time, we saw TB Joshua, myself and my mom. And he didn't say anything. So one thing I noticed is when I got there, he was the one that said I should bring my mom. But when we got there, he seemed to have forgotten that he asked this young man to bring his mom. So I had to start explaining myself again, that you asked me to bring my mom. And I said, okay. That, what of your husband? My father died long ago. Say, my father is no more and all that. I said, you are a widow. Say, yes. And I said, okay, that they should register her name in widows. I think he has this charity for widows or so. Say they should register her name for widows and something. Then I remember, I think he gave her 20K, 20,000, you know. That was the second time I met him. Then my mother had to go back. Then they asked myself alone to come back. So this time when I went, this was like the second week or so. So they took us through, there's this place whereby you sit down, they will interview you, ask you what brought you, what the problem is. You see camera everywhere, they're recording everything you are saying and all that. They ask you all those things, you answer and all that. Then after that, they now took us to another place. And I remember vividly, this other place that we went to, it was a white lady. She held the camera and all that. But before we got there, they gave us like an agreement to sign. And the agreement is like a non-disclosure agreement, whereby they say, okay, you have given them liberty to use your footage, whatever they record. And that whatever it is that they show about that footage, you cannot sue them. You agree willingly to allow them record you and, you know, something like that. So they gave us those, and when they gave it to us, they will not allow you to read it. They just say sign, 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 sign. But me, I'm in business. I do contracts with ExxonMobil, Owando, Corn Oil, and so I always take time to read through agreements to, you know, clauses and all that. A single clause can put you. So I was able to, while others were just signing. So I went through it, and that was what I saw. I still had to sign, but I was wondering, and normally when you sign an agreement, you should have a copy, and the other person should have a copy. But there was no copy for us. It's just only one copy. You sign and they keep it. You sign and they keep it. So this white lady that with the camera, this other section, they record you when you are recording, when you are saying what your problem is. By the time they finish that, then we sign the non-disclosure agreement. Then the other part, because this day when we're coming, they asked us to dress very well, you know. We didn't record the two the same day, remember? The first day we recorded when they were asking you what your problem, what brought you and all that. Then they asked us to come back the following day. But this time that we should dress very well. So we dressed very well, wore suits, women, they, you know, gele and all that. So this white lady, they will record, take pictures, do video recording. And now they want you to now start talking like, oh, the problem that brought me to TB Joshua is this. Thank God, God has solved the problem. Now you are now talking as if God has solved the problem already. Then after that, they want you to jump, maybe someone that is excited, you are jumping, hey, praise, you know, so, and they were recording everything. I had issues with that because the problem that brought me here, the man that ran away with my money, I've not seen him. They say he has traveled abroad. Things were so bad for me financially. Even my office had to close down. I couldn't pay salaries and all that. And they said I should record that part and all that. So reluctantly, we recorded it. And, you know, we've signed the agreement, all those. Long story short, I just found out that 2 months later, they started showing my video again on Synagogue TV. Yeah, the video that we recorded where they were asking us, okay, what brought you, what's the problem, and you would narrate. So they will show that part, then they will now show the other part where you are jubilating that, oh, God has solved your problem and all that since you came to synagogue. And so they put the two videos together and they were just playing, and people were watching it all over the world again. People were calling me from Benin, from Port Harcourt, from South Africa. My friends, they say, we saw you, thank God, and all that. But I was still there. The problem wasn't solved. So I just felt, these people, they are not genuine. They are just doing things for the camera, so to say. So these were my encounter. I met TB Joshua on 3 occasions, one-on-one, you know. So these were my encounter. I don't want to come and say he's a fake man of God or he's a genuine man of God. But from the little story I've told here, make your conclusions. Yes, make your conclusions. All those people that appeared in that BBC documentary, at least I can tell you authoritatively that I've met like 5 of them. Though I didn't meet the daughter. I don't know her. I didn't meet the daughter, but like 4 or 5 of them, I met them one-on-one. All those wise men, these wise men, that I met 3 of them. Yeah. You know. So these were my encounter with TB Joshua, but I have my reservations, make I not lie.